안녕하세요 여러분, MC입니다. Hi everyone, Margarita here, and I'll be your K-drama queen for today. And this week, I want to share with you my thoughts and opinion on a drama that created a fury of reactions and emotions all over social media. It beat every possible viewer rating in Korea in like its entire television history or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is of course no other than 부부의 세계, or The World of the Married. So brace yourselves. Before I step into any kind of spoilery territory, I want to give you my general feelings and thoughts on this drama, which are mostly positive. I do recommend it. I think it was great. Do I think anyone and everyone can handle it? Probably not. Do I also think it's like an easy breezy little drama that you can play whenever you're having lunch or whatever? Also, probably not. There are a lot of little plot twists that you really need to follow carefully along, and the subject is very heavy. So if you're looking for something light and uplifting, this is definitely not a drama for you, but if you're in for a little bit of some darkness and twistediness and just real, raw, uncensored goodness, 부부의 세계 is right down your alley. I do want to mention that for me personally, somebody who comes from a broken household, this was a challenging drama to watch. I did have to step aside a couple of times, just pause it, regroup, take a little breather, because it really did hit some chords that I didn't even think were there anymore, because I'm an adult and that part of my life is completely behind me. But I do think that this drama really drives a point across that these kinds of things affect you for life, regardless if you were in it yourself, if you are the parent, if you are a child. Everybody gets affected. Your entire village gets affected. Figuratively, obviously. I was a little bit surprised though when I see how high viewer ratings were for this drama in Korea itself. I thought this was a very controversial drama in terms of how much it actually showed of the really raw type of conflict and human emotions and the dirt and the drama. I guess that's what Korean audience really have been craving for lately. I think Korean society is becoming a lot more open on topics of mental health. So it's been really refreshing to see the insane viewer ratings. I mean, half of freaking Seoul saw the last couple of episodes, I think. Okay, maybe not half, but like quarter, which is still insane. These guys agree. And at this point, I think there's literally nothing else I can share with you without giving away tiny little spoilers, so spoiler alert! Proceed with caution past this point. In terms of the plot, those of you who have been watching these episodes of mine know that I do a little first and last episode check to really evaluate my overall opinion about a drama, because regardless of whatever happened in the middle, if the first episode were not enticing enough to get me there, I won't watch the drama. And similarly, if the last episode was just a drag, it will leave a very sour aftertaste for the entire drama, which unfortunately is exactly what happened in this case. I really didn't like the first and the last episodes. First one more than the last one, actually, strangely. I've heard a lot of people really complain about the last episode, that it was really a letdown. But for me, I almost couldn't sit through the first episode. It was painful and artificial, and everything was just portrayed so bittersweetly, and just everything looked so fake, and I was feeling really uncomfortable. I also went into this drama not reading the synopsis or having any idea of what it was going to be about at all. I barely lasted until the end, and only when Sunwoo opened the trunk of her husband's car and found out all this evidence of him cheating on her and everyone essentially conspiring against her in this, that's when I really wanted to continue watching to see if she really does end up stabbing her husband in the heart and on his party and in front of all of his friends and colleagues. And now looking back, I kind of see why the writers would have structured it that way. They were really trying to show the stark contrast between the seemingly perfect life that Sunwoo was leading and what the reality of it was. And it really did set the tone for the rest of the drama, but oh, it was really painful to sit through. I mean, am I right, guys? Did you feel the same way? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm alone in this and everybody loved the first episode. I don't know. As for the last episode, I just feel like the entire drama was so intense and dramatic, and it had so many twists and turns where you had no idea how each and every episode was gonna finish, and then in the last episode, just such a letdown. First of all, I got really confused with timelines. Like, it was very choppy, and it was like 7 days earlier, 3 days later, like all this unnecessary timeliney jumps back and forth. I really didn't appreciate it. And then this entire scene of where Tae seemingly kills Junyoung, and they're trying to portray it to us like, oh, we don't know what's happened. Did he kidnap him? Did he like drown him in this pond or whatever? We know the drill. That's happened before. Sonu did the exact same thing where she pretended like she killed her son and she didn't. And the same kind of cinematic decisions were made in order to portray that feeling of uncertainty, that doing it a second time just didn't do it for me. I thought it was boring. I literally got distracted on my phone during that time. I knew he didn't kill Junyoung. I knew he just wanted attention. To me, Taeho's behavior in there was a little bit out of character. Like, in my opinion, I think the drama would have been so much better if Tae just killed himself right after he lost everything. I feel like he's the kind of person who just literally cannot handle A, being alone, B, not being taken care of, and C, not having all attention on him. And he lost all of that. And I genuinely don't think a person like him would be able to overcome this, especially knowing that he also doesn't have access to his children anymore. Like, that was his last kind of hope and straw that he could hang on to. As soon as that was done, I genuinely think that it was within his character to just kill himself. It would have made so much more sense instead of trying to make him look as an even weaker person who tries to commit suicide right in front of his son and his ex-wife, and then he doesn't end up committing. And like, boy, did you scar your son even further. Junyoung, in this case, it was realistic that he would run away, because that kind of trauma, boy, I personally can't even imagine what it can do to a person. But the fact that there was like a semi-happy ending where he kind of came back after a year and Son was all happy, I didn't fall for that. It just didn't seem right and organic and real. Like, the entire drama felt so realistic and logical, and every single character's decision making and plot twist, it all made sense. And then the last episode, I feel like everyone just got tired and wanted to conclude this story in some sort of way, and logic started to falter a little bit, in my opinion. The one good thing that did redeem the last episode for me, which is gonna sound really morbid, but there was the K-drama truck of doom. This would not have been a true Korean drama if it didn't have a random truck of doom that just appears out of nowhere, has issues with brakes, and doesn't end up killing someone. What did make it a little bit underwhelming for me is that it actually didn't kill anyone, which is the one and sole purpose of K-drama truck of doom, really. And that didn't happen. Maybe that's why the last episode just didn't make sense for me. The truck of doom has to kill someone, guys. It really does. Moving away from the first and the last episode, I really appreciate the underlying message of this drama. And for all of us, it might be different. For me, what I took away from this show was the fact that there are two types of human beings in the world. It's almost this universal truth where there are good people who tend to make bad decisions and choices and make mistakes, and there are inherently bad people who sometimes actually end up doing good things. And that is how the world functions. I know this seems like a very black and white way of looking at things, and all of you philosophers out there are probably gonna be like, this is not how the world works. I get it, I know. I think this drama really clearly portrayed these kind of two different camps of people. There were characters like Sonu and Hyunseo and Dr. Kim, Junyoung for sure. All of these people are inherently good-natured. They're not inherently selfish. They don't only care about themselves. They do want to do good for other people, but certain circumstances and life and so many unexpected things just puts them into positions where unfortunately they have to do some not so ethically correct things, such as Dr. Kim having to go behind Sonu's back and trying to figure out what Chairman Yeo's plans were, and counseling Junyoung on the side without really letting her know. But also Sonu, like, she is a good-natured woman who is obsessive about her child's future, does everything for him, has a good job, helping people as a doctor. Like, she genuinely tries to do good everywhere she goes, but unfortunately she's been put in a situation where she had to cheat on her husband. as well to get some information. So does that make her an inherently bad person? No, she's a good person who's made a bad decision. But there are other people in the drama, like Tae-oh, Dak-kyung, and like her entire freaking family, who are inherently bad people. They are selfish to the core. They only do things that will benefit them. They do not care what consequences their actions will cause. And if whatever actions they take end up doing good, that is just an added little bonus. And what this drama did so beautifully is show the contrast between the consequences of the actions between the good and the bad people. I also really liked how they showed different generations, like the parents of the adulteress, and then the Junyoung and all the other kids in his class who had to deal with their respective parents and their situations. Like, this really showed that your decisions will inevitably affect them. And that's just life. In terms of characters, I literally have just like 2 things to say. First of all, everyone did such an amazing job. The actress who played Sonu, she's one of my favorite actresses of all times nowadays. Like, she just killed it. Like, I can go on and on about how amazing she was forever, but I'll spare you the time. The one little tiny thing that I do want to mention is something I'm going to be dragged through the mud by so many of you probably, but you know what? It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and I'm gonna share it with you. I did not like the actor that played Junyoung. Oh, I said it! It's out there, it's in the universe. But seriously, all jokes aside, as somebody who had theater training and acting training as a child, the first and the most fundamental thing they teach you in acting school is your eyes tell a story. Your face can be doing absolutely anything and everything, but if your eyes are unengaged, that's it. You've lost the audience, you've lost the point of the emotions that you're trying to portray, you've lost it all. And I feel like that's exactly what happened in this drama. There were moments where Junyoung had to be enraged, had to be acting out at his parents, or fighting with his friends, or just throwing tantrums, and I feel like his body language was correct, but his eyes were empty. There was nothing in his eyes. And that just killed it for me. And it's such a pity because he was doing things like, "Oh my god, I'm going to kill you!" where he was shouting and his mouth was doing things and his body language was all engaged, but his eyes were dead. Where in reality, all he needed to do was just put the meaning of what he was trying to say into his eyes and say, "I am going to kill you." That's it. That is it. I didn't need to shout. I didn't need to use much of my body language. Nothing. It's all in the eyes. In these 2 centimeters, or however many centimeters there are, of your face, that is all you need to tell a story. And that light was missing, and it killed it for me. And obviously, he's young. You don't tend to get something right from the first time. I really hope he gets more training, and in the further dramas that I'll see him in, he'll hopefully do better, but unfortunately that killed the character for me. And I could only relate to what he was going through because of my own personal experience. So there's that. In terms of cinematography and sound effects, that was absolutely outstanding. I loved the feeling, the soundtracks, this eeriness that you would get going up and down your spine whenever any plot twist would happen on the screen. It was just so beautifully done. So I have absolutely nothing to complain about. Check. I also didn't really pick up on any tiny little miscellaneous things here and there, probably because I wasn't taking as intensive of notes during this drama as I have done for the previous ones. If you've noticed any miscellaneous little fun mishaps or just interesting things that happen, or like something that totally didn't make sense, do leave it in the comment section below, and just generally share your opinion of this drama with me. Let me know how you felt about it. I really hope that you enjoyed this review, and I will chat with you all really soon in my next video. Bye! Annyeong!